Today we're talking about the 5 bad habits the INFJ needs to lose. You all know we always talk about personal development, but always from a perspective of how to create that epic life that you're looking for on your terms. But sometimes it feels like adding a lot of new habits will just overwhelm you. So the best thing to do sometimes is just to start with some habits that you could lose. Some bad habits that are particularly important for us INFJs that will make all the difference. Before we get started, remember to download the free poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life. And if you want my personal help with this, then work with me one-on-one or join the INFJ bootcamp waiting list. All the information you find below. So the first habit INFJs need to lose is procrastination. And you might say, okay, why are we even talking about this? Procrastination is something, first off, everybody needs to lose. Second of all, it is something that is one of the biggest problems for INFJs. It's like saying, yeah, eat healthy, then you're going to be healthy, or work out, then you're going to be fit. Like, isn't it just self-explanatory that you have to remove procrastination? Well, it's not, because we're not just here to say, okay, stop procrastinating. We're looking at this procrastination from the perspective of what it means for an INFJ. An INFJ has this sloth mentality. It is something that we carry within us. It's not something that has to be negative at all. It's just a way we go through life. We enjoy the process. We enjoy the fact that we can just take our time, enjoy what we do and how we do it, and that we determine the pace of everything we do in life. And most of the time, because we see that other people are so hectic, are all about burnout, are always rushing to the next thing, we go into rebel mode and start the whole thing of, no, I'm going to relax, I'm going to contemplate, I'm going to think about it, I'm going to relax. And then we get to the situation where procrastination just seems inevitable. But that's not the case. What we have to learn that it's all about leaning in. It's all about trajectory. It's all about a path that we're creating. So we as INFJs might have these great visions of, I want to have that. I'm going to be that version of myself. And these are such big visions. So if we think about, oh, there's so much I have to do in order to become that, it just overwhelms us, and then we just lay back because why even bother? Like, that's a typical thing. Why bother? But that thought process is never going to help you to get out of procrastination. What you need to do, and this is one of the main things we talk about in bootcamp, we talk about in coaching, and you'll also see it in the pillars, is that we need to start small. We talk about trajectory. For example, you say, I want to start working out. I want to feel fit. What's the game plan here? It's not to set out a plan where you work out 5 times a week. Remember, you're an INFJ. You're not going to do that. But the thing that's going to make a difference is to say, every single Friday after I come home from work, I'm going to put on my workout clothes. That's a given. That's all you need to do. Before you know it, you add something to it. You say, I put on my workout clothes, and then I put in a workout video on YouTube. That's all. You don't even have to do it. You just sit there and you watch it. You don't even have to watch all of it. You just have to turn it on. Before you know it, you're going to take the next step. You get where I'm going with this. Remember, procrastination is not inevitable for INFJs. And I'm telling you this not only as somebody who's been a former procrastinator like no one else, but I also see how everybody that I work with changes this approach. Don't believe it's something that you're born with, but it's all about trajectory. It's about who you become in the process. Because it's not about, are you going to work out or not? It's about, can I teach myself that I'm going to keep the promises I make to myself? Can I teach myself that I'm going towards something that I want to be? That's the main thing, and that's going to get you out of procrastination in a way you never thought possible. Before you know it, you've actually increased your productivity, and only in such a way that makes sense to you. I always say, we INFJs, we don't have to do all the things. We just have to do the right things. And that leads us to habit number 2, being too hard on ourselves. This is something that is probably not so common in the INFJ world, but it's something we all do. Yes, we hear all the time INFJs are perfectionists, but it's not just about that. It's about all that we have to become. It's that thing of, we are INFJs, we have a vision of who we want to be in the world, what our life should look like. And if we fall short to that, then the consequences are just horrible because this is an ego loss. It will hurt our soul so much. So that's why I always say when somebody starts a new project, for example, saying I'm going to share my thoughts on YouTube, it's not about creating this perfect thing that's going to be good enough and people are going to like it or not and people are going to judge you for it. No, it's about saying I'm going to put this out there and it's going to suck. There's no way it's not going to suck, because what do I compare it to? I compare it to my vision, but that's not a valid comparison. Not at all. What we have to compare it to is I'm not doing anything or I'm doing something that sucks. Guess what? Only when you do something as well as you can in that moment, knowing very well that it will fall short of all your hopes and wishes, that's the moment when you start improving. That's when you actually start feeling excited about creating that INFJ epic life, because you're not outcome focused. You're focused on who you're becoming in the process. And as a side product, whatever you put out in the world, it gets better. This applies to your job, to your vocation, to anything that you've put your mind to. Don't be so hard on yourself. Be aware that it's all about improving what currently exists. We're not comparing it if you're going to be able to reach that level of your vision. Those are two separate things. It's just a northern star, something that shows us in what direction we're going, and then we start from the real world. What have you been able to do yesterday, and what are you able to do today? And that 1% improvement, that already makes all the difference. Habit number 3, trying to please everyone and not knowing and protecting our boundaries. You might say, well, doesn't that make me an INFJ? The fact that I'm thinking about others, what they're doing, what this is all about. Isn't this like a typical meme topic actually of, oh no, I'm not putting myself first. That's why I'm an INFJ. I always put others first. Ha ha ha. Yeah, it's funny because it's true, but it's not something that has to stay this way. I'm also here to tell you that I have made that transformation and I've seen so many INFJs do that. You're not going to be a mean person afterwards. But if you're not putting more effort into yourself, and you're always focusing on pleasing others, you are restricting yourself like nothing else. We all know this. You, for example, have these one friends over here and these other friends over there. There's no way you could combine them, because with every one of them, you're a different version, just to make sure that they're happy. The music they're listening to, the friends they're talking to, the activities that they want to do. That is our priority, and just at a second glance, it's what we want. We have to put an end to this. And similarly, like the first habits, it's always about leaning into something. Next time you go to the movies with your friends, say to yourself, I have to choose a movie. I cannot always say whatever you want. This is about understanding what you want and practicing it. Habit number 4, ignoring TE, meaning ignoring extroverted thinking. We as INFJs dislike this function the most. You know that we have access to all 8, right? I mean, we say it's these 4: introverted intuition, extroverted feeling, introverted thinking, and extroverted sensing. But that does not mean that we have no access to NE or TE or any of those other functions. I mean, it's just logic. We understand that something is a common law. We just don't like using it. We rather use our own thought process. And this works in 99% of the time. This is what we're really good at. We don't need to get great at extroverted thinking, but we have to put it into consideration. If you think, I understand that other person so well, this will be our dream come true for both of us. We make such sense. We just complement each other. It's perfect. We are meant to be, and we had this amazing connection at first. That is all TI. What is happening TE-wise at that moment? That person has ghosted you, that person doesn't want to interact with you, they never contact you, and they show you the cold shoulder. How do we compartmentalize it? We tell ourselves that person is scared, that person is intimidated. All those stories we tell ourselves. And to some extent, they might be true. But the TE truth at that moment is that person doesn't have any interest. And we have to take that into consideration when it comes to how we move forward in life. It's not just about dating situations. It's also about I want to achieve something. We have to create something that really exists where other people cannot deny it. Like, for example, if you say, I'm contemplating, I'm changing my worldview, all of those things make such sense to me. Well, in reality, Nobody can see this. But if you have come up with these new ideas and you have shared them on a blog, on YouTube, on Instagram, you've told a friend, whatever it is, but it's something that is externally observable, you're actually moving forward. You're creating something in the real world, and then you move on from that point. You have a new baseline. Otherwise, it's just in your mind and there's no way to move forward from this. That's why I'm saying don't neglect TE logic. You don't need a lot of it, but always double check, does it make sense with where my life is heading, with what I'm seeing in the real world, and how can I combine all of that so I can use all my thoughts, I can use all my ideas, and I can make them into reality so they can actually grow and impact other people. And habit number 5, dwelling on the past and not focusing on the new future. You might say, well, we INFJs are visionaries. We're all about the future. We don't care about any of that. But that's not the case if you go a little bit more into the subconscious. All the choices that we're making are based on things that we've experienced in our past. People didn't like me as a kid. Okay, then I need a partner who's so cool that the fact that he chooses me makes me cool. Those kind of thought processes are happening subconsciously all the time. They're happening in relationships, they're happening in your job, they're happening in absolutely everything that we do. And if we want to move forward, we have to become aware of them. We have to set goals, and then we have to focus on creating a new identity that is in alignment with who we want to be and not who we used to be. This can only happen if we become aware of all the tendencies that we've been doing. It's not, of course, necessary to know all of them, but there's always something you can become aware of. What isn't working in your life? What is something where you continuously get stuck? Are you always dating the same kind of people and don't have luck with this? Are you trying to get successful in a certain career that might not be the thing that you need? Maybe you're just there because all your life you've been taught that this kind of career is the only one that matters, when the person you want to become is somebody who has a completely different way of approaching life, and therefore their career is completely different. See, all of those are just examples, but you can always find something in each one of those 5 bad habits that you want to lose that will make all the difference. I'll repeat them so you see them all at once. So number 1, stop procrastinating, start small, but start. Number 2, stop being so hard on yourself. It's going to suck. You do it anyway because you're somebody who wants to improve with every single step that you take. Number 3, stop caring too much about other people and neglecting your own boundaries. You need to know what you want outside of what anybody of your friends, family, coworkers, peers wants. Habit number 4, don't neglect TE logic. And number 5, stop dwelling on a past identity and start developing one that is in alignment with the INFJ epic life that you want to live. Remember to download the free poster, link is in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video Why the INFJ is Made for Greatness.